everyone, Cassandra Wilson coming to you from Vancouver, Canada. I'm out in my backyard today shooting some videos and it's just glorious, wonderful, mid-July weather. It's a little warm in this top, but I'm really enjoying it. So today on this video, I wanted to talk about reframing your story. So yesterday we talked about rewriting your life story, and I touched on some of the principles and methodologies of doing that. But now we're talking about reframing the story. So this is where you get to take a situation, have an objective view, look at the perspectives of the people involved in that situation. So if something happened in your life and it caused you some upset, just take a step back. See yourself as an observer, as a witness of that. Look at yourself and how are you feeling, and what was your state of being, and what was your state of understanding, and what was your emotional response. Okay, take some deep breaths and then have a look at another person's point of view. What were they feeling? What were their challenges? Where were they going with that moment? And were they in a state of weakness or a moment of weakness? And go around and look at the other person. Were they there as well? And were they experiencing things that were beyond their ability to handle? So when you look at each person's situation, maybe the overall situation, like what were the external situations that were happening? What was the house like? Was the house old? Was it carrying old energies and maybe possibly, influencing the situation in a negative way? A lot of old houses carry old energy and it doesn't get released, and so they can impact the people living there and create chaos where it doesn't need to be, and it would naturally be if that energy wasn't there. So a side note to sage your house and do some house clearing. But if you look at the situation from an objective standpoint, from a witness standpoint, you can see that there were two sides to every part of the story. There was the stuff that you could have done better. There was maybe the rebel in you, or the tired child in you, or whatever it was that was going on that was actually contributing to it. And then there was the positive side, the innocent child, or a person who was just wanting to be loved, and look around at each of those people, each of the circumstances, the positive and the negative. And when you do that, you're going to have a different perspective. It's going to allow you to reframe the story. And that's what you want to do. You want to reframe those experiences that were challenging for you and that you may be holding on to emotionally, so that it just becomes a story. It's not something that you feel emotion when you express it to someone. That's the true marker of healing, is if you can tell someone a story as if it was just in the newspaper or in a magazine, and you don't have that emotional charge to it. And if you take a situation where you did have that, or you do have that emotional charge, and you work with it and you look at it and you breathe, and you could use crystals or nice music or candles, whatever it is, if you witness that event, you will find that the energy of it changes. And as the energy of it changes, it becomes lighter and it becomes easier and less dense. And then when you tell someone that story after you've done some work in witnessing it, you're going to find that, oh God, that emotion that I had tied to that all that time is gone. The story and the emotion are different. And your job is to release the emotion so that the story is not as negative as you would have originally assumed, because it was tied to that negative emotion. So your power is in releasing the emotion. You do that through breathing, through witnessing, through observing the emotion and letting it go. Okay, so that's how you reframe events in your life, so that your story is easier to experience, to talk about, to know, so that your story becomes actually this elevated fairy tale, ideally, of the experience that you had in this life. Okay, so I recommend that you guys try that, and I wish you well with that. And also make some comments afterward if you feel inclined to share your experience. We've got the Facebook page, True Love Creations, and we've got the Facebook group as well. So in the group, there's usually more conversation and a little bit more discussion. So, both pages are active. So wherever you'd like to share your story, we'd love to hear it. Okay, have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you soon.